Oh, there you are. Thanks for agreeing to meet with me today. Yes, I suppose that since I'm your boss, it would have been a little difficult for you to deny the invitation to meet with me. Straight to the point, aren't we? I like the initiative, but there's no reason for you to be so tense. Please take a seat and relax. Don't think of it as a meeting between you and your boss. Think of it more like a meeting between colleagues. No, you're not in trouble. Quite the contrary, actually. I want to commend you for your work on this project. You know you're the only lab assistant on this entire team who's been granted permissions to conduct tests and experiments alone. Even some of the scientists aren't permitted to work alone. And do you know why? It's because when I was looking over your application for this position, I noticed that on your resume you had some rather, interesting credentials. Now, mostly I was interested in your communication skills and background in psychology. Now, I know what you must be thinking. These skills, they seem almost out of place in an environment like this one, don't they? And yet we hired you. Yes, this decision seemed risky to some, but I insisted that you be hired based on these very skills, because I predicted they would be useful to us for the remaining duration of this experiment. We'd lost several lab assistants before you were brought on, you know. They abandoned the project shortly after joining the team. They didn't have enough mental fortitude to resist its manipulation. What was that? The subject is in it, my dear assistant, not a he. It would do you some good to remember that. You might end up like all the others who held your position before. And that would be a shame, because you have just so much more potential in this field than just about anyone on this team. Yes, I really do mean that. I wouldn't give such high praise to someone who was unworthy of it. No need to thank me. You've earned it. So, why do you hesitate to accept it? You want to know more about the subject's use of manipulation? Oh, but surely you've noticed it by now. After all, you are nothing but fresh prey it can use to fulfill its desires. Make sure you don't let it get into your head. I believe having to remove you from this project would cause irreversible damage to the project as a whole. Why? You mean you don't know? Well then, allow me to explain. Ever since you joined this team, we've begun to notice certain changes in the creature's behavior. Most intriguing, and perhaps most promising, is that it seems to be more willing to listen to orders and suggestions after meeting with you specifically. Whatever it is that you've been doing unsupervised, it's worked wonders for our progress. It's taken so long for us to get where we are now, and even in just the short time you've been here, your work with the subject alone has brought us so much closer to completion than we could have ever imagined. However, I have noticed something rather strange with the creature's behavior as well. You see, when the rest of the team is conducting the tests and moving forward with the experiment, the subject seems to yearn for something. Or rather, someone. You look tense. Would you like me to get you something to drink? Water? Tea, perhaps? You don't have to shake your head so vigorously. You can relax, you know. I don't bite. Where am I going with all of this? Well, it's simple. Your interactions with the creature have accelerated progress immensely. But because you're one of the few permitted to perform your tasks one-on-one with it, nobody else on this team knows what it is that you do in there. So, I have a proposal for you. Why, I'm glad you asked. We'd like to learn your methods for keeping the creature under control, even when you are not in the room. You should hear how loudly it cries out for you sometimes. Yes, it does. Oh, and please remember that the subject is not a he. You slipped again. If you aren't careful, that naivete could be your downfall. I would really hate for you to end up like your predecessors, dear assistant. Such a bold question to ask. But I'll humor you. Do you remember the NDA form we had you sign when you joined this team? Yes, the non-disclosure agreement. Well, as you've guessed, everyone who's been brought on has had to sign one of those. But because of the nature of this project as well as how secretive it is, people leaving does get a bit troublesome at times, as you can well imagine. So, we have to deal with such situations accordingly. Kill them? Oh, no, I can assure you we don't kill people who have to leave the project. Oh, but we do have to alter the memories of those who leave to ensure that they cannot and will not speak to anyone on the outside about the experiments we're conducting here. The common folk, you see, they wouldn't understand. They wouldn't be able to comprehend the changes we're trying to make for the betterment of humanity, let alone accept them. At least not without a proper example. And that's where Prime comes in. Yes, Prime. That's what I've taken to calling the creature as of late. Think of it sort of like a code name. Prime, because it is the first of its kind. The first example of man-made evolution. What was his name before the experiment? Oh, my dear assistant, again with the he. Oh, but you are still new. It's going to take you some time to get used to it, so I don't hold it against you for slipping so much. But if this becomes a problem and your superiors report it to me, I am going to have to reprimand you for it. Do you understand? Good. Now, what was your question again? That's right. Its previous name. In truth, I personally never learned it. If anyone else knows, it was never documented in anyone's logbooks or in any other data that we've collected. But that information is irrelevant. What matters now is Prime's current progress and your direct influence on the rate at which it does so. On that subject, I'd like to bring you back to my proposal. You have 3 options. You can allow someone to observe your interactions with the subject and record what goes on in a logbook. We can install a camera in the room in which we keep the creature so that anyone may observe your methods at any time. Nor option 3. You can detail your methods to me here and now. Yes, it is entirely your choice. Why allow you to make the choice yourself? Isn't it obvious? It's because I respect you as a scientist. Therefore, I value your input. You're hesitant. Your reaction is understandable in these circumstances. Each option has its pros and cons, after all. If I may make a suggestion, I personally would recommend simply detailing your methods now so that I may keep your statement on file and relay the information to the rest of the team. But the choice is yours. Time? No, I'm afraid you haven't much time to consider your options here, and I'm concerned that if I allowed you to delay your response, you won't remember to make one because of your busy schedule. So I must advise that you make a decision now. Remember what we're aiming for with this experiment. Cast your inhibitions to the side and trust your instincts. Ah, very good. See, when you trust your instincts, you get results much faster. Let me see what you've written here. Oh, I can't resist. Gained the subject's trust. You write as if it's the most simple thing in the world. Oh, but it has gotten results. I believe this is something I can work with. Thank you. Oh, yes, you're free to go about your duties today. And once again, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me today. This has been rather enlightening. No, and before I forget, I'd like you to remember something for me. Keep your mental fortitude strong around the subject. If you ever waver in any way, it will see that and use that against you. Don't fall for any manipulation it uses against you. It hasn't laid a hand on you since that time, has it? It seems I've hit a nerve. Well, at the very least, I'm glad it hasn't tried to do anything of the sort since then. But I would suggest that you continue to be vigilant. I'll see you around then. Hello? The tests are over already, aren't they? So, why did you come? Oh, it's you. I thought you were one of them. Others. But I think I can fight it if it's you. Yes, I'm coming back to myself from being a monster. I'm glad you don't have to see it again. So, what did you do today? It was one of the days where you didn't have to do any tests. weren't supposed to do any tests on me, wasn't it? You man, one of the head scientists. Were you in trouble? Opposite. You did something good. What was it? Progress sped up. He said you made the whole thing advance more than expected. So then he considers you to be an ass. Yes, asset. And if something were to happen to that asset, then sorry. I'm sorry. I swear I wouldn't. I know that I did bad before. But you're the first who's been nice to me in a long time. So I'll be good. And if I'm good, then I won't get hurt. Isn't that right? Hey, are you all right? You fell? Did I do something wrong? Please, if I promise to be good, then you'll get up, won't you? Why are you crying? No, don't say that. Nothing here is your fault. No. Even if you caused progress rate to increase, still no, not your fault. Did it hurt me, then hurt more than they hurt you. Will you leave soon? With that person you want to bring? But for now, stay, please. Company until you feel better. Yes. You can relax here. Nobody else until the next test time. I'll hold on to your hand until you feel better, because you're still good. Must keep good safe this time. Hey, sorry to bother you, but if you made it this far in the video and you're not subscribed, would you mind hitting that subscribe button for me? Thanks a bunch.